to the present and a very joyful task of presenting the Distinguished Alumni Awards. The first is for alumnus in the graduate programs, and the recipient of that is Carlotta Evans, Doctor of Medical Science, 75, postdoctoral, 75. And the other award to the DMD candidate that we'll get to in a minute, unfortunately she is here, is to Andrea S. Schreiber, DMD class of 1980. The purpose of the Distinguished Alumni Awards is to identify and recognize individuals who have made significant contributions that honor the mission of the school in addition to supporting HSDM through the generosity of their time, talent, and/or philanthropic commitments. This year I'm proud to present two awards. The first is the Distinguished Advanced Graduate Degree Alumnus Award to Dr. Evans. Carla is an accomplished researcher, author, teacher, and administrator with multiple professional recognitions. Carla Evans serves as an inspiration for her students and colleagues alike. Currently, she is professor and department head and orthodontic specialty program director in the Department of Orthodontics at the College of Dentistry and professor of bioengineering in the College of Engineering at the University of Illinois at Chicago, which, by the way, only last year changed from awarding a DDS degree to a DMD degree. After graduating from the University of Michigan School of Dentistry, Dr. Evans earned her orthodontic specialty certificate at Harvard University Forsyth Dental Center program in combination with the Doctor of Medical Sciences and oral biology degree here at the dental school. Before returning to the school as a faculty member, she worked as a research chemist at the National Cancer Institute and as a health science administrator at the National Institute of Dental Research. Dr. Evans has served on numerous boards, dental associations, and research groups, has been featured in and served as editor of prestigious academic journals, and received accolades from all corners of the dental profession. And I can only say I did a lot of orthodontic surgery cases with Carla in the 1980s and early 90s, and not one of them ever needed post-operative orthodontics. It was amazing, just amazing. She was a clinical magician, is a clinical magician. A strong advocate for electronic health records, she continues to lead ADA committees related to their use and has been the only dentist serving on the Illinois Health Information Exchange Advisory Committee since 2011. Her impact on the field of oral health is truly phenomenal. Unfortunately, international travel prevents her from joining us today. She asks that I share her sentiments by reading this letter of thanks. Quote, I truly appreciate having this opportunity to thank the people who helped me along the way. My research advisor at the University of Michigan Dental School, Dr. James K. Avery, the well-known oral histologist, told me to apply to the Harvard Forsyth orthodontic program because the study section had just approved funding for the Doctor of Medical Science program, and I'd be at the right place at the right time. The program lived up to its accolades, and I was the first person to receive that degree. People would joke that it was the $1.2 million degree because that's the amount that the U.S. Public Health Service had spent on the program up to that time. Times were different then. It was a tradition that during the first week of the orthodontic program, Dr. Conrad Maurice would take the new orthodontic students over to the Harvard Club for lunch. As we entered the parking lot, he mentioned that I was really lucky because the Harvard Club had just opened to women and that I wouldn't have been able to join the rest at lunch had that change not occurred. That was the summer of 1970. It was my good fortune to study at a place that judged people by their accomplishments and supported them in reaching their career goals. I am grateful to all the Harvard Forsyth orthodontists, as well as my Longwood medical area mentors, Dr. James Shaw, Paul Goldhaber, Walter Gorelnik, Joseph Henry, Paul Gallup, Joseph Murray, Peter Yen, and many others. After all these years, I hope that I met their expectations, and I think she surely did. So congratulations to Carla Evans. We're sorry that she can't be here. I just actually saw her at the IIDR meeting. All the major dental meetings were in Boston this year. And I think it was last week, the orthodontic department had a continuing education course here, and there were a number of alumni back for that, which was very nice. Wasn't it last week? Somewhere recently, yeah. Second, to someone who's here. The Distinguished DMD Alumnus Award for 2015 goes to Dr. Andrea S. Schreiber, DMD 1980. As an esteemed teacher, author, and administrator with a long history of service on multiple boards and committees in the field of oral and maxillofacial surgery, Andrea Schreiber's accomplishments are more than impressive. She is currently Vice Dean for postgraduate and graduate programs and a clinical professor of oral and maxillofacial surgery at New York University, where my mother wanted me to go. I'll never forget. After graduating with a DMD cum laude from the Harvard School of Dental Medicine in 1980, she completed her general practice residency at Columbia Presbyterian Medical Center in New York City and her oral and maxillofacial surgery training at New York University Bellevue Hospital. Dr. Schreiber has authored several book chapters, edited and reviewed prestigious journals, and lectured locally as well as nationally in the fields of anesthesia, preoperative patient management, and critical event analysis. Her service as a diplomat of the American Board of Oral and Maxillofacial Surgery for the past 9 years, and as a consultant to the Commission on Dental Accreditation for postdoctoral programs over the past decade, demonstrates her commitment to the profession. She is an inspiration to her students and colleagues alike. Dr. Schreiber, please come forward to accept your award. Harvard School of Dental Medicine, Distinguished Alumnus Award. Andrea S. Schreiber, DMD 80, respected clinician, educator, and administrator. You honor your school by inspiring students and guiding institutions with thoughtful innovation and leadership. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I want to see what's in here.
It's a cigar.
No. This is a different. I'm curious. Oh, it's the same thing. Wow.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Donoff, and thank you, everyone, for being here. As you can imagine, a lot of thoughts ran through my mind when I heard about this award, and I'd like to share two of them. The first is somewhat mathematical. I graduated in 1980 with 16 amazing classmates. So the first thought that ran through my mind was whether or not everybody else already has two of these. And I see them looking at each other, trying to figure this out. But seriously, the second thought was this. Harvard tends to attract two different kinds of students. The kind that come here and never seem to leave, and case in point. And the kind who leave and never look back. And I'm not either one of those. Because basically, much like gum on the bottom of your shoe on a hot summer day, Harvard has continuously and repeatedly pulled me back. And whether it was in the friendships that I made or the mentors, such as Howard and John Kelly and too many more that are too numerous to mention, that I've kept for these 35 years. That's really hard to say. Or the program directors who later trained me, or the chairs and the deans at Columbia and at NYU who saw fit to hire me, that all came out of Harvard. So for the last 35 years, I've been surrounded by what my husband has dubbed the Harvard Mafia, a not so clandestine organization that has tracked me my entire professional life. And for that, and for this, I'm very grateful.
We will have to send this one to Dr. Evans. Speaking of the Harvard Mafia, just one last word. Tomorrow I'm heading out to Los Angeles to be the commencement speaker at the UCLA Dental School. Now talk about, there are more Harvard alumni at the UCLA Dental School than at Harvard. Starting with the Dean, Noe Park, and Earl Freimel, and Kang Ting, and Issue. You can go on, and Ben Wu, and it's astounding. And in fact, it's a real honor for me because it's the 50th anniversary of their school. In 2 years, we will have a 150th anniversary. But in preparing for that, UCLA Dental School was started by Radar Sognis. I'm not sure if any of you in the class of '80 knew Radar Sognis, who was a professor of oral pathology here, and went out to the West Coast to start dental schools when the state of California was starting a bunch of public dental schools, and the school has done very, very well. There was another person who was asked to come out to California that you'll probably know, Howard Oakes. How many of you knew Howard Oakes? Howard Oakes was my dean of students. And when I was actually looking at Sam Young, we had a reception out in San Diego, you remember? And a few years ago, and someone told me the story of Howard Oakes and the University of California, San Diego, because University of California, San Diego has a huge pre-dental club run by a fellow named Irv Silverson, a wonderful guy. And I've been out there a few times, and I always wondered why they don't have a dental school. Well, apparently in the late 60s, right before UCLA was established, Howard was invited by a number of medical school classmates who were at UC San Diego to come out there and help them formulate a plan for forming a dental school. And the alumni told me the following story. Howard flew to Los Angeles, and you remember Howard always had patches on his coat and a little absent-minded. Flew to Los Angeles, went to rent a car to go to San Diego. I don't know why he didn't fly to San Diego. And his driver's license had expired. So he never rented a car, he never went to San Diego, and there's no dental school at San Diego. They were sure that was the reason. So I will turn it back to Jessica.